Welcome to Digital Fringe Arts 2018. My name is Mariana Harvie, and I'm here to speak about Dolores M. Miller, poet, author, and child advocate. Dolores wants the world to know about her true childhood friends, Anthony and Mariana. When she thinks of our special friendship, a friendship of 3 children growing up in Pennsylvania in the 1950s, it fills her heart with joy. I am honored to have written the introduction to Anthony, Mariana, and me. I'd like to share it with you. Although it began in 2015, the story really begins long before that. In 1950s Philadelphia, East Falls to be exact, where 2 little girls living in row houses became friends. It was inevitable that we become friends. In that city block, there were few children. And besides, our birthdays were only 2 days apart. Dolores and I played together nearly every day after school and all day during the summers. My younger brother, Anthony, was the youngest and the only boy in our family of 5 kids. I was 2 years older than he. And with my sisters being older, he and I played together often as well, with Dolores as our third partner in crime. Hopscotch, army men, store, but mostly school, with Dee and I as the teachers and Anthony as the student, since we were older and wiser. Those were golden days, never to be replicated, but always thought of with a smile. Although Dee moved to a different section of East Falls, we stayed in touch for a while, but with our going to different high schools, we drifted. We saw each other occasionally, but after my marriage, and then hers, we lost touch. It took us 50 years to reconnect. Dolores wrote the book Anthony, Mariana, and Me because she wants everyone to know our special bond, which still continues to this day, and to share the lessons we learned through our relationship. We didn't know it then, but that starlight time helped us to see the beauty of life and use those years as beautiful stepping stones to help us overcome future adversities. Follow our 60-year journey and see that there are always possibilities for hope and a brighter future. Here's an excerpt from Anthony, Mariana, and Me. Chapter 1, Starlight Time. It was a starlight time. Kids were kids. We played and laughed and sang and danced. In our starlight time, the only classroom and our friendship existed. There was no harshness or pain in that room, just joy and fun. There was no outside world. I was 8 years old and was friends with Mariana and her younger brother, Anthony. We were just a few kids playing school in the basement of a row home in Philadelphia. I asked my mom if I could go to the Bonoma's house. "Mom, can I take the nun outfits to Mariana's now?" I love the nun outfits. My mom made them. The outfits were exactly like the St. Joe nuns from years ago, black robe and veil with a white collar which covers the scalp. My mom asked if my homework was done. I assured her it was, and she told me to go ahead but be careful. I thanked her as I ran out the door. I loved being a nun teacher. I couldn't wait to get to my friend's house. As soon as I knocked on the front door, Anthony swung it open and excitedly told me to come in. They were already playing in the basement. As we walked through the living room, we encountered Mr. Bonoma, and as usual, he called out, "How are you, fat belly?" We giggled and laughed, even though I was so skinny my belly always stuck out. I loved to smell the roses. There was always a vase of roses in front of the Blessed Mother statue in the entryway at the Bonomas. I can still smell the roses as I walk through the Bonoma's house, and the smell of gravy, as the Italians call it, as soon as I walked in the door. I called out to Mrs. Bonoma, "Oh, your gravy smells so good." Mrs. Bonoma asked, "Do you want me to call your mom and see if you can stay for dinner?" "Yes." Anthony yelled down the stairs, "Mariana, we're coming down. You ready?" I loved being in their basement. It was set up like a classroom. There was a chalkboard, and old-fashioned student desks, an old teacher's desk. Textbooks were on the teacher's desk. Chalk, erasers, pens, pencils, and paper were always in the room. I can still see Anthony's sweet smile, sitting in his seat like a good student, while Mariana and I wore our nun outfits so we could be the teachers. I love spending a lot of time at their house and in this classroom. Almost immediately, Mariana starts to argue with me. I want to be the teacher. I replied, you were always the teacher. I want to be the teacher. I started to argue with Mariana and to try to make a deal. I will be the teacher today. You can be the teacher tomorrow. Anthony just hangs in the background, mumbling about not minding being the student. He thinks it's fun to be the student. And of course, Mariana comes back with, tomorrow you'll say the same thing. Tomorrow never comes for me. I'll never get my turn. No, I will be the teacher today. You can be the teacher tomorrow. Well, I told her, oh yeah, that's how you want it? I'm not playing. I'm just going home. I ignored Mariana and started talking to just Anthony. Anthony, don't you have a game tomorrow? Anthony replied, yeah, in the afternoon. It's good. We won the last couple of games. Mariana is furious and stomps her foot. Dolores, you are so bossy. I put my hands on my hips and really let her have it. Look who's talking. And then Mariana whined at me. At least I don't whine like a baby when I don't get my own way. I called her out on it. Baloney. You are just mad because I'm a better teacher. And my mom made the nun outfits. They're mine and I'm going home. Mariana started to give in and begs with her hands. I still just want to be the teacher. I told her, not today. I couldn't just back down now. Anthony was always trying to make the peace. Mariana, just leave her alone and let her be the teacher. Mariana declared, all right, I'll be the teacher's aide today, but I am the teacher next time. I had to get the last word, so I gave it to her. Fine. I didn't want to give her a chance to change her mind, so I ushered her into the nearest desk and gave out the textbooks. I addressed the class and told them to sit in their seats and we'll get started. Today we're learning math. I called on Mariana to do some math problems on the board. I wanted her to have some time in front of the classroom, even though I was the teacher. There were a few times when Mariana was the teacher. We took turns. But Anthony was always the student. I can still feel the touch of the real textbooks and the smoothness of the white chalk as the powder stuck to my hands. We didn't know it then. The hours would just pass, many hours of us playing. I still feel a secure, happy feeling when I think of that starlight time. We were immune to the outside world. We had so many hours of learning, make-believe, and pure fun. I want the world to know about my true childhood friend, Anthony, and what I learned sharing his story. The sharing of the love, friendship, kindness, forgiveness, and a shared connection. Precious times that were like a sparkling jewel are transformed into my book called Anthony, Mariana, and Me. My childhood friend, my angel. If we only knew just how short his life would be, I wouldn't have let all those years pass by without having some more fun, playing together and sharing more, and without learning more from my friend. I would have told him he was such a good friend to me, and I would have told him, I love you. Dear viewer, try to be in your moments, not thinking about what if or worrying about the future. We don't know how long we have on earth. Don't waste your precious time. If you are having hard times in the present, don't forget that things change, and we can always hope for the best. I'm here to tell the story so Dolores can help others, even when it's hard. Anthony had so many years ahead of him, but cancer took him home way too early. Dolores wants you to know that Anthony's death was her first experience of a parent losing a child. When Anthony died, she felt the anguish of Mr. Bonoma. Since Anthony's death, she has had many friends who have lost children. It is gut-wrenching and out of the natural order. The deaths occurred from illness, domestic violence, vacation disasters, accidental drug overdoses, and suicide. No loss is easy, no loss less valued, no loss less devastating. She learned from Anthony that we need to take time to see the beauty every day. This world has a lot of harsh things. Seeing beauty helps you to see beyond the harshness. Always try to help others who are suffering. Remember the people who were in your life when it was difficult. Always be healthy and happy. And remember, there is always hope. In God's eyes, even 100 years is a very short amount of time. Become all you were meant to be. Don't let yourself or others hold you down. Dolores M. Miller, author, poet, and child advocate, can be found on the web at beautifulwarrior.com. And you can connect with her through Facebook, Dolores M. Miller. Thank you.